Hi, you guys. I just wanted to stop for a second and do a little introduction for this video. It's time. It's time for me to do just a little garden tour. Listen, it's not fancy. It's just a small little backyard garden, but it's a lot of work for me. And it sure brings us a lot of joy and a lot of good food. And um, I wanted to give something for those of you who have been asking me what kind of stuff I'm growing. So let's see. So I'll do this shot from here. We have 5 8x4 boxes. Our chicken coop is here. Potatoes, some of them are early. You can see they're starting to die off. That's supposed to happen. Those are Yukons here right up front. And then these are Canela russets that are in the back. Sorry about the autofocus, but I've got a couple flower beds and a couple different things happening. It's not super organized because I like to put multiple things in. I don't like to put one crop inside of a bed. I love to kind of pack everything in. And you can see there's a lot going on, so I'll show you guys. This is where I had originally planted some horseradish. I harvested it. I'm not sure if I killed it. I'm trying to see what exactly this is that's coming up because I'm not sure. It looks like that, which if you're in the area, I went to Sun's Nursery over in Sandy Spring and got this horseradish plant. I just got it today, so I'm gonna take care of it, cut it back, fertilize it, make it all beautimous. I love horseradish. There's 1,000 things you can do with it. Here are some leftovers I just kind of stuck in some pots. I'm trying to grow some moss rose. Anyway, this is valerian. I cut the flower stalks off. If you're not familiar with valerian, it is a sedative. I use it to just take the edge off of anxiety that I have. Shout out to all my peeps dealing with anxiety. Love you guys. I'm praying for us. Obviously, sunflowers. You can see we do like sunflowers because we've got a bunch of them, but I'll show you that in a sec. I've got garlic chives, nasturtium. This is wasabi radish, rosemary, Thai basil, wasabi arugula, Thai basil, onions. This is a celery plant. I'm just waiting for the seeds. It's past that time of year. We're in the season for warm crops, so you'll see a lot of this is converting from cool crops to warm crops. This is what we like to call a volunteer dill plant. It's bouquet dill. As you can see, it's really prevalent with flowers. It's kind of a plant once and never plant again because it'll reseed yourself all over your garden, which is wonderful. As you can see, my onions are starting to gain some size. The world's biggest marigold bushes. They also reseeded themselves. This is this is lemon basil, not holy basil, with some onions popping up through there, which I'm grateful for. But look at that basil. Lemon basil. I don't care if mine bolts. I still use it. Some folks have a preference. No me importa. This is my gorgeous oregano patch that I have already cut back once this year, like 2 weeks ago, and it's this big again. Isn't that glorious? There's some leftover broccoli and such. Look at this, still producing. This is really good in warm weather. Now this is opening up a little bit more than I would like it to. However, oh, look at that. No thank you. I hope a bird comes along and eats you. Anyway, but for those of you who don't know, when you eat broccoli, you're eating the flower. So this will all open up into flowers, and then you'll see this here. This will actually, they'll blow up and become seed pods like these, right? So that's broccoli. This is the purple cauliflower. I'm gonna pull all this stuff soon. You can see over there I did an experiment with peanuts this year. I'll update you later. I'm not real sure how that's going yet. This is our strawberry patch. It's mostly done. We keep it trimmed back. I'm gonna see if I can defeat the squash vine borer this year. It is my garden nemesis. Anyway, this is a bushing acorn squash. So there's a couple types of squash that it doesn't prefer as much as the acorn squash and the spaghetti squash, etc. And I'm growing some of the ones it prefers as well as some of the ones it doesn't, and we'll see who wins. These are my beets and my carrots. I'll show you in a minute the bed that was full of them. So these are golden beets, you can see by the stem here. You can eat the greens. These greens you probably don't want to. It looks like the leaf miner has gotten to them, although it's not going to ruin the bulb, so I'm not too worried about it. Just some end of the season bits and pieces. Normally these are cool weather. I'll start some more soon so that they can grow into the fall. Lots of wonderful things. So that is one bed, two beds. We have three more. This beautiful flowering plant is called agastache. I love this stuff. Plus it's really, really fragrant and can confuse pests looking for things like my honey nut squash. Number one, marigold. And then right over here, you see I'm kind of hiding them. There's another of my squash. And I'm hiding them underneath the agastache because it's really fragrant. And hopefully pests won't find it until they're really well established, and then it won't matter. These are onion flower bulbs. Now they've flowered already and we are well on our way to getting seed heads. These are from last year. Onions are biennial. So you see all the way at the bottom, those are the onions, but this is year 2 for the onions. And so this year they throw up a flower and they produce seed. So I'll do that. Dandelion, another mammoth dill plant. These are the last of my beets in this bed. So I was saying that I had a whole bed. This was all beets and carrots a couple days ago. And I've got them stored for long-term storage while we eat them so they don't go bad. Here is another onion, but this one didn't put up a flower stalk. This one was, I didn't plant this one this year. It's a volunteer. But it didn't throw up a flower, so I'm gonna pull it like a bulb. So, like I said, carrots and beets in here, which are cool weather. We've pulled that out. We're transitioning to warm weather. There's some cilantro I just pulled out, which is cool weather, but it's stinky. So I'm hoping it will confuse the bugs because I've laid that and a dill head right next to these, and these are buttercup squash. And I'm gonna grow them up this trellis. And then of course the fruit, the squash itself, will need support. So I'll do that. And then I've got some asparagus beans. You guys, the birds were eating them, just clipping the ends off of them. So I hung these. It seems to be working. Birds don't like this reflective stuff. Look at that sky. Anywho's, look at this. That's a bean. I could pull it right off of there and eat it. Just makes me so happy. I don't want it on the ground, so I'm gonna, well, maybe I won't. Sorry, but we need to do some weed whacking. But do you see this? Do you see the beans? Can you imagine? They're gonna grow and then they'll all be hanging. Here's some random stuff I stuck in a bag. I need to water it. It's the only thing I forgot to water today. This is a volunteer tomato that I transferred from another bed that came up from last year. So I think it's a sweetheart cherry from Baker Creek. This is a salmon zinnia and a nasturtium. I need to water this bed, or this grow bag. Anyway, that tomato will get nice and big. So you can kind of see my idea here. Buttercup squash will grow here. Honey nut squash will grow here. Asparagus beans will grow here, and then they'll drape down. They'll be easy to see. So that's that bed. The next is my tomato bed, but do you see these mammoth sunflowers? I mean, gargantuan. You may notice that I have some shade cloth. So if you don't know, tomatoes and peppers love the sunshine and they like full sun, but when it gets into the 90-95 range, they can get a little bit stunted heat, too much heat. Their leaves will curl, they'll drop blooms, and so I put this over the top of them from our really hot weather from this last week. So you'll see, these are Dr. Weechie. They're huge. They're not even full grown yet. So here's another sunflower. So under the shade cloth, I have Dr. Weechie, two of my favorite tomatoes, which are Thornburns terracotta, 1 and 2. This one is what they call a double leader. So there's 2 stems that I'm growing, and I'm pruning off all the suckers. Right? 1, 2 leaders. And I do what Charles Dowding does, which is a super famous gardening guy. And I tie a knot in the end of this string, and when I plant the tomatoes, I set the string underneath the root ball. And the bigger the tomato plant gets, the more it weighs itself down. And then as it grows, I just wind it around the string up to here. Okay? If it gets super big, I can just release it and lean it a little bit. So double leader, single leader, another Thornburns terracotta, and then this thing is giant already. It's already up next to the sunflowers. This is sun gold, and they'll turn orange, and they're beautiful, and they grow super prolifically. They get super tall. It never stops. You can even top the plant and it'll just keep growing some other way. Onions, you can't quite, let's go under the cloth. Here we go. Lettuce, lavender, basil. Sweet basil. This is, I think it's Thai basil. Oh no, cardinal basil, excuse me. This is the one cardinal basil plant that I have is right there. And then my onions. I'm growing Expression and Calibre are the 2 I'm growing this year, different from last year. I'm wondering about these sizing up underneath this shade cloth, but we'll see. These are something you call intermediate day onions. Intermediate day onions has to do with where I live and what kind of onions you would want to grow. The lower these tomato leaves are to the ground, the more likely they are to get diseased. So I remove everything up to the first fruit set. I just hadn't done it yet. I gotta get in there and trim that guy too. Everybody's happy. Let me get this guy here. Look at you. All right, since we're under here, we'll go ahead and take a look at my peppers. So, Tam jalapeno, which is a mild jalapeno, Tam jalapeno, shishito. I don't know if you guys follow, there's a girl named Jess from Roots and Refuge. She has an aioli that she makes and roasts, fire roasts the shishitos and dips it. And ever since I saw her do that, I have wanted them so bad. So I'm growing shishito peppers this year for my very first time, and we're going to get some. It's going to be delicious. And then these 2 are King of the North bell peppers. So they're large bells. You can see everybody is putting out some blooms. I pulled the first shishito off of here yesterday. I didn't want it to stop producing. There's a lot of things you can do. If you want your peppers to produce well, don't let them flower too early. And pinch 1 or 2 of the first fruits off so that you're telling the plant that it has to continue to try to produce seed. This is a cupcake zinnia. It's going to be gorgeous. It's like a double bloom. You see how I never just plant one thing? So there's the tomato bed. Here's my last main bed. Strawflower, zinnia. Here's the beginning of those peppers. The world's largest marigolds. I know they're not really, but I'm always so tickled by how huge these things get. These are my burgundy bush beans that are coming in really nicely. Swiss chard, cupcake zinnia, different type of marigold. This is holy basil. This right here. And then these are some of the onions that I had left over. Let me lift this up. The birds like to dive bomb this bed, so I cover it with bird netting. But these onions are actually meant to be individual bulbing onions, but I had a bunch left over, so I just clustered them together. Which, by the way, I have some multiplier or evergreen onions that I got from the Lazy Dog Farm website. They're on their way, you guys. I'm so excited. There's more to be grown. I have more potatoes on the way. I've got all kinds of stuff coming. Anyway, here's more experimenting with peanuts. These beans need to come back this way. Peanuts. Lots of good stuff. The weirdest, saddest tree ever. I'm not even going to get started there. The glorious grapevine that happens every year, no matter how much I trim it. Look at all that fruit. So feverfew, which is medicinal but looks terrible right now. Catnip, which needs to be cut back. This is actually calming. Some sad baby sunflowers. This is boysenberry. It gave us some berries this year. It's only its first full year. First full year here. The chickens love to get in here. Can you tell? Hilarious. More peanut experimenting. I'm trying to see where it likes and what it likes regarding our particular microclimate. I know what the websites say and the seed packets say, but I'm trying to figure out where to put it. Our chickens have dug up the Gaillardia. It looks like a type of sunflower, but it's red and orange. This is year 1 goji berry bush, which will get huge. Sunflower, strawflower, and watermelon that is going to get going anytime here. But something about this bed, I don't know if any of you guys remember. It's so funny. But this bed, from this end all the way to that end, it has taken Chris and I a couple of summers to dig it out, because 3 inches under the top of that soil were hundreds upon hundreds of plastic bottles. Why? Why would you bury those? I can't get started because I'm super frustrated about it, but I'm so grateful that we're done digging them out and this bed is now free and the ground can stop having plastic just seeping into it. So, I am grateful that there are no more plastic bottles in this area. Thank you, Jesus. I mean, can we seriously? Grapevine, grapevine, shed. I mean, right? It's ours all the way to the back. It's our sweet babies over here. something I'm very excited about. This is year 2. This probably looks weird to you, but it is happy for me. So this is a sad looking golden seal, but I'm trying to figure out different ways to grow it. But you see these guys here. It likes dappled sunlight. It's a forest grown medicinal herb. And there are 2 plants. It takes about 5 to 7 years to harvest. And I'm pretty excited about it. This is comfrey, of course, because comfrey just comes up everywhere. But this makes me excited, especially because golden seal is endangered. And so growing it is investing in the future of this plant, and it's incredibly powerful medicinally. I call it a killer. There's my limelight hydrangea. It's going to be huge. Scoot back here. Lemon balm. I need to cut this back, but this is also calming. You can make a tea. There's our gargantuan comfrey bushes. Random stuff. Shard sunflower. My first attempt at 1, 2, 3. Can you guess what it is? Jicama. Jicama. This is perilla, also known as shiso. So this is used in Asian cooking a lot, especially Korean. It's considered to be invasive around her, but I don't, because I eat it. I don't consider it to be invasive because I eat it all the time. It's super like bold flavored, pungent, spicy, delicious, clovey, minty. It's just wonderful. But this potent plant stabilizes your mast cells. For those who are not familiar, let's just say it helps calm down your histamine. And for me, it helps with anxiety, and I love it. So I got this on accident. You guys, this is the best story. I got it on accident from a really nice lady in the gardening group for my area. She was actually giving me passion flower vines. So sweet. But this was in there. And so, excuse me, I'm going to eat some. I realized what it was, and I've cultivated it. And I was so worried this year that my passion flower wasn't going to come back because I couldn't see it. And the little bit that I did see, some bird plucked it out. I was so mad because not only is passion flower gorgeous, you guys, but it's also medicinal and calming. Anybody sensing a theme here for the herbs that I grow? Anyway, it's wonderful. And then I looked down, and guess who's coming out of the ground? That's right. It came out of the and rooted itself into the ground. So now I don't ever have to worry about this passion flower coming back. And by a month from now, it will be up. It's going to be so huge. This is a bit messy, but I kind of like it. So yarrow, nasturtium, some more sedum, some more yarrow. I mean, y'all, it's so much fun. We just need a weed whacker. But back to the passion flower. This here will grow, and it'll come back every single year, and it's gorgeous. But then look, it did come back up in the bucket. Isn't that sweet? Look over here too. I thought for sure I'd lost it, but it didn't. This little beauty right there. So I've got 2 in the pail, but one that's just decided to live. This is moonflower from my dear precious friend Sherry, whom I love. We love you, Grammy Sherry. And then here is my experiment. If you're saying, Susan, you planted that corn too close, I did it on purpose. Don't you worry about it. It's sweet corn. It's called serendipity. My friend Russ and Vanessa's son, Caleb, suggested I grow it. So I did. Because I can. Let's see what happens, guys. I'll keep you updated. Don't worry. These potatoes are going to be just fine. Don't you worry. But I planted 2 ground cherries. The whole cherry from last year. I just stuck it on my counter and let it dry. And then I stuck it in dirt and Look at every single one of these is individual plants. I don't need that many. Strawberry spinach. I've wanted to grow it before, but I was inspired by my sister-in-law Gretel. And then guys, this is lemongrass that I need to transplant and, well, pot up really. But guys, I think that's it. Welcome to my garden. Look at what the Lord has done. I can't do this stuff, you guys. Look at what our Jesus has done. You can hear the kids playing in the pool 2 houses over. We have a great neighborhood, you guys. I hope you have a blessed day.